Well, there was a counter protest that took place, and Jack Mortensen was one of those involved, and he's going to join us, and we'll talk to him. He'll be in studio coming up just after 8, and I think I know Jack. I've known Jack for many years, and I think you will find him to be provocative, to say the least. So it should be an interesting conversation with Jack.
Greg Belfrage Show.
8 minutes past 8. Cloudy and 62 at KELO. Good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. This portion is brought to you by Siouxland Oral Surgery. Getting your beautiful smile back can be easy on the pocketbook. They accept City Health Card and Care Credit, which offers interest-free financing. SiouxlandOralSurgery.com. Oh, a few clouds here yet this morning. Possibility of some scattered showers, but we will see sunshine today and a high around 80. Again, currently it is cloudy and 62. Well, as I mentioned, and we talked about it a little bit last week, Jack reported on this. There was the Sioux Falls chapter of South Dakota Open Carry did a peaceful demonstration in Sioux Falls over the weekend in support of the Second Amendment, where they openly carried, which you can do according to South Dakota state law, as long as you don't conceal. If you carry openly, that's not against the law. And so they did a short walk, went to Starbucks. Well, there was a counter-protest, a peaceful counter-protest that also took place. And among those who were there is an old friend of mine by the name of Jack Mortensen, who joins us in the studio this morning. Jack, how are you?
Great, Greg. How are you doing?
I am doing well. It's good to see you, my friend.
Well, it's good to see you, especially that we've started to turn the tables here. Back in the olden days when you were in high school, I had a radio show, and you came over, and we did a twosome there.
You allowed me to be a guest on your show numerous times.
Crazy, wasn't it?
It was very engaging and thought-provoking stuff. And honestly, you're a big reason why I do what I do today. I just found a great love for broadcasting.
I'm sorry. I know that you're doomed to a life of penury here because radio people don't make much money, and it's my fault. But
well, you may be sorry by the time I get through with you, mister.
Well, okay.
Well, it's nice to have you here. But
it's good to be here.
As I saw your comments in the newspaper over the weekend, I thought, well, let's get Jack on to talk a little bit. Why the counter protest to what happened over the weekend?
Well, there are some of us who are on a different side of the fence than those people who were participating in the open carry, and we just thought that maybe it was a good thing to go down and just be a presence there to let people know, the people who are carrying and others who might be interested, that there's another side to that issue, that maybe we have the right to carry, but maybe we don't need to do that. It's a little bit disconcerting, I think, for some people. In fact, I was talking to some people who saw a man carrying at the Jazz Fest. The police stopped him. He had the proper papers, and so he went right in. And he said he wanted to do it because he felt safer. Well, there were a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot, but several people that I talked to who said that made them really uncomfortable. And sometimes you just don't need to do that. And so we went to protest and just and we didn't confront the people who were carrying because that's their right. But we just want people to think maybe we don't need to do that in South Dakota.
You mentioned about people feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so many people carry, and you never know that they're carrying because it's concealed.
Yeah.
And we don't hear incidents of problems, and do people feel unsafe because we have kind of this real fear of guns?
I don't know. I think that's maybe part of it. But South Dakota, we've grown up with guns since before we were a state. I've used guns and I've carried them openly, although I carried them in the field. And they were always unloaded when we went from place to place because that's the smart thing to do, the safe thing. And so look at the airport when hunting season comes around. Holy cow!
A lot of guns coming
everywhere,
into the state, right?
And nobody thinks twice about it. But and they're all in cases and they're safe. If you see somebody walking around with a gun on his or her hip, you kind of wonder, why are you doing that? And do we need to have that in South Dakota, especially in the largest city in the state, where it's pretty much an urban environment? Maybe we don't need to do that. And so we just went to show that point of view.
How many people did you have that joined you over the weekend? Yeah,
Mary and I. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. But we were really strong in our opposition.
I didn't expect there would be a large number, but there weren't a large number of people who participated in the South Dakota, with the Sioux Falls chapter South Dakota Open Carry either. I mean, it was...
Well, there was a good number. I don't know. I'm not sure how many, 40, 50 people, and they were well behaved, and they carried responsibly.
And that's really kind of their point, isn't it? Is that, hey, listen, they're trying to say, you don't need to be nervous. Don't be nervous that we're carrying guns. We're just like you. We're law-abiding citizens. We just, for whatever their personal reasons are, decide that they prefer to carry.
Yeah, that's right. And we were there to say, nah, you don't need to do that. Mostly what I saw, there were a couple guys carrying shotguns, and I felt comfortable with that. But when you see an assault rifle strapped on somebody's side or back, you wonder, why do you need to do that? And sidearms, pistols, why do you need to have a pistol? And you're right, a lot of people carry concealed. I'm not sure that that's necessary in our society either. In a civilized nation, you shouldn't have to have that. We should have proper police protection, and we should be working together with one another in the community to make sure that we feel safe all the time. And the open carry people, I don't think an ordinary citizen should have not rifles. They should have rifles because that's a sporting gun. But a semi-automatic weapon, or pistols, those are meant to kill people. That's why they were invented. That's how they're used most of the time.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who carry pistols for sport and shoot sport, and I've known a number of them who carry pistols, and they just enjoy shooting. I mean,
well, yeah, it's fun. It is. It's good. I mean, there's quite a release when you pull that trigger, and I mean, and I've target shot and skeet shot, and most of the skeets got away, but
so like me.
Yeah, but those weapons are to kill people, and when you see those in the community, or that there's somebody carrying that besides a bona fide law officer, I guess we just think that's not appropriate, and so we just went to say, let's look at this in a different way.
15 minutes past 8. It is cloudy and 62. Jack Mortensen is my guest, and again, he was one of those who did a peaceful counter protest over the weekend during a South Dakota open carry event. Do you think we need to do more in terms of restricting what guns people carry?
I'd rather that people just realize that maybe that's not the thing to do. I don't think we need more laws. I just think we need to rethink our use of firearms. And, in countries where they don't have firearms, pistols and and assault weapons, it's a whole different feeling. We may have someone from Denmark listening to this show right now. Erling emailed me and said, I'll be listening. And he's from Denmark. He was an exchange student here in South Dakota years and years and years ago. But he sent me an email when I messed up things yesterday and by coming in early. And he said, well, I was listening. And he said, here in Denmark, if you have one of those kind of weapons, you get a year in jail, and there are no questions asked. And Danes feel safer. And I guess I would like that to be the case here. Not that we need to have that year of instant jail, but the fact that we would just not need to carry weapons because we live in a safe society.
No question we'd all love to live in a safe society. We've spent a lot of time here talking, especially after Newtown. That is a tragedy that impacted all of us.
Yep.
It's hard not to watch that and not be moved by what happened there. It was a horrible tragedy. What do you think lead to things like that? I mean, societal things lead to those kinds of mass killings.
Well, I guess first off, I think it starts with crazy people, and because only a crazy person would do something like that, or at least I think so. But in a society where guns are so prevalent and people can get their hands on them pretty much any time, and nobody thinks, that's weird. We set up those situations where those crazy people can get guns. And, look at Detroit. My goodness, all the firing and stuff. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the world. Chicago has knocked down their rate of homicides, but mostly by upping their police presence, which maybe they should have been doing a long time ago, so that people don't feel the need to carry guns, don't feel the need to protect themselves. We ought to feel safe in our communities.
And you can't argue with that. I mean, I'd love to be able to, and I make the choice not to carry.
Yeah.
Personally, I do not carry, and it's one of the reasons I live in Sioux Falls. It's in South Dakota. I think in this whole area in general, it's a safe place. It's a great place to raise a family. It's what I love about this part of the Midwest. It's just a wonderful place to live, and public safety is a big part of that. But for those who do, I mean, I guess I kind of feel it's not my place to say, well, you shouldn't be carrying.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be carrying because it is the law. I'm saying that in our society, we need to make it so they won't want to carry. And we're still going to see hunters going out and harvesting those pheasants. We need hunters to harvest the animals so that they don't get out of control and have diseases and all kinds of things. And we're going to see pickup trucks with rifles and shotguns in the back window. That's because that's part of our culture. And that's okay. But those weapons are for hunting and shooting varmints. I mean, the four-legged kind.
Yeah, right.
There are some other varmints around here we ought to take care of.
Well, that's my job. That's what I'm doing on a daily basis.
Yeah,
we'll take care of the other varmints.
Take care of them varmints?
That's right. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking a little time this morning, stop in and
one little side thing,
please.
A good friend of ours, Reverend Christy McLaughlin, sent out an email suggesting that this counter protest happen, and in the email she said, I don't want any confrontations, just a peaceful presence to say, let's take a look at this. And after she sent that email out, the blog on the Argus Leader just went nuts, and there were people who were mean, ugly people. People who threatened her. And then she said in a follow-up email, because of all the stuff that's going on, I don't think we should go. And so some of the people who said they were probably going to attend elected not to in deference to Christie's wishes. But Mary and I thought, what does she know? We need to go and be there and just raise the issue of, in our society, we need to divest ourselves of those weapons that are designed just to kill people, even though they're fun to shoot, even though we're not hurting anybody. We just don't need that.
And we need to divest ourselves of a little bit of anger, and especially with those who have a different point of view than we do.
Exactly.
I find it really troubling to me that there would be threats, and then that people who would have attended, and again, to peacefully present an alternative point of view,
right,
that those people feel threatened and unsafe, and then therefore unwilling to. That to me is that's troubling.
It is. It's scary. And we need to help those people to understand that this is America, for crying out loud. The cities in the Old West used to have the cowboys check their guns before they came into town because they knew that there was going to be trouble. Partly that might have had something to do with alcohol, but they did. They checked them and then they got it back. No problems. The sheriff was happier and he could sleep sounder, and maybe even his deputy, Barney, or no, that was the other deputy.
No.
Festus. That was
Festus. Yeah, right. Well, Jack Mortensen, thanks for your time this morning, and it's good to have a chance to visit with you again, old friend.
Thanks, Greg. It's been fun. It's good to see you, and it's good to see you with those headphones on and doing what you do. You are such a talented young man. Well, maybe not young anymore.
Not anymore. No, I just hit 50.
50.
Jack.
Wow.
Jack Mortensen, we're going to get to Jack Taylor. He's got headlines from the KELO News Center coming up. It's 8:22.